Perhaps the most famous constellation or group of stars in the heavens is a group of 7 brilliant, sparkling stars in the northern sky known as Ursa Major. But because of their unique formation, they are much better known to us as the Big Dipper, because their outline looks exactly like an old-fashioned dipper for scooping up drinking water. This is the story of how they got that way. It happened long, long ago. It was the year of the great drought, when little or no rain fell at all. The grain in the fields and the trees in the forest were dried out and brittle. Even the streams that crisscrossed the land had shrunk to little more than trickles, and the poor fish had nowhere to go. In the village, even the deepest well was almost dry. Without water, no living thing can survive, and it is every bit as important to us as the air we breathe. And this was the cruelest summer in history. The villagers had all but given up hope. On the outskirts of the village, a little girl lived alone with her very poor and very sick mother. The mother had fallen ill after the heat waves set in, and her faithful daughter had stayed by her side, nursing her as best she could.
Water. Please, just a sip. Oh, Mother.
The daughter had searched and searched, but nowhere could she find any water fit enough to drink. All there was left to do was to pray for a miracle, to pray for rain.
Oh, please let there be rain. If I don't find water soon, my mother will surely die. Please, if only I could find water, I would promise anything. Oh, please, please, won't you help?
The girl prayed and hoped with all her might, but she herself was so weak from thirst that she finally fell asleep at the window. It was almost midnight when she awoke to a wondrous thing.
Ah!
The night was alive with sparkling beads that transformed the village into a wonderland. They covered every tree and everything in sight. She looked more closely and realized it was the evening dew, cooler and richer than she had ever seen.
Ah! It's the dew! Mother, the dew is everywhere. I'll gather enough for you to drink.
The happy daughter grabbed a wooden dipper and quickly ran out to scoop up the evening dew to moisten her mother's thirsty lips. It had been such a long time since she had felt such joy. She could not wait to fill the dipper with the glistening beads of dew. But gathering up the precious dew was not as easy as she thought. It seemed to evaporate as fast as she scooped it up. But the little girl would not give up. She had promised her mother, and she could not disappoint her. So she spent the rest of the night running to and fro about the village, gathering up every drop of dew she could find. The loving daughter did her best, but the best she could do was little more than a sip.
It seems so little.
She had never felt so tired, but still she would not give up. She knew that the evening dew still glistened in the meadow, and perhaps it would be easier to gather. So once more she set out to collect the precious moisture. She vowed never to stop until she had filled her dipper and carried it to her mother's lips.
Just a bit more, Mother, and I'll be home.
The brave little girl pushed on, doing much more than could have been expected of her. But now she could go no further. She worked through the night, but still her dipper held little more than before.
I can't stop now. The water! The sun will be up soon, and if I don't get some water back to Mother, I don't know what.
But then it happened. A magical wind swept through the forest and over the fields, spinning the dew into a funnel that soared into the heavens and then down into the little girl's dipper until it was overflowing with the precious liquid.
Ah, the dipper's full. It's full of cool, clear water. I'd better not have any of this. Mother may need it all to get well.
It had been months since she'd seen so much water, but the kind little girl could only think of how happy this would make her mother, so she carefully started back to her home.
Huh?
It was an old hunting dog. It had been searching all night looking for water, but now it could go no further.
It looks so sad. Here, boy, try this.
Even though her own throat was parched and dry, and her mother was waiting, the good little girl could not let the old dog go thirsty. And then another wonderful thing happened. The old wooden dipper was transformed into shining, sterling silver. But even this miracle did not make her forget how important that water inside was to her mother. So once more she set off for home.
Mother, I've brought you some water. Look. Water. Yes, I fell asleep in the forest, and when I awoke... Ah, water. Can it really be water?
Oh, how cool that water was to the mother's lips. But she took only a sip before offering some to her daughter.
Thank you, dear. It was delicious. I've had enough for now, so why don't you take as much as you like? Oh, no, I don't need any, really. You still have a fever and need all the liquids you can drink. There's plenty of time for me to have some after you're well.
As soon as she had finished, the silver dipper began to change into gold. The mother and daughter couldn't have been more surprised, but the water inside still meant more than either silver or gold.
But please, dear, you'd make me very happy if you have some. But Mother... What is it?
Water. Please spare some water.
The little girl had never seen the old man before, but it was obvious he needed the water much more than she.
Mother? Of course we'll share it with him.
The stranger gulped the water down, and the little girl felt good to see how it restored him. And when he had finished, he set the golden dipper upon the old wooden floor. It was 7 sparkling diamonds.
My child, you've shown yourself to be very kind and considerate, not only to your mother, but also to a stranger in need. Your goodness will not go unrewarded. Never again will the village be without water.
So saying, the holy man's image disappeared into the darkness, and as it did, the 7 sparkling diamonds were swept up into the heavens. And as they did, they formed the outline of the little girl's old wooden dipper.
Ah! Oh, Mother! Oh, Mother, look! It's raining! Oh, Mother, water! We'll have water forever now!
That's right.
Mother,
Rain was falling as if poured from that big dipper in the northern sky.
Oh, rain! I love rain!
It rained and rained until the entire land was replenished and once more abloom and fresh. as the holy man had promised, the village never again would suffer from drought. As long as the Big Dipper remained in the northern sky, there would be plenty of water for all. And so, when you look up at the stars at night, look for the Big Dipper. And remember the story of the little girl who made it all possible with her generosity and kindness.